Hey guys, my name is Scrub and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the time a homeless guy tried to kill me. We're doing a story time here for like the first time because I normally don't do this. But let's get into it and whatnot. And yep. So it was about a couple months ago, November 1st, me and my friend Rick, we're going around. We like to explore abandoned buildings, but today we had found a new spot, all right? And it was this little I don't know how to describe it, like semi, like there's just a bunch of abandoned semi trailers. They're called Thermos Kings typically, right? And we get back there, right? It's pretty dark, it's nighttime, right? We get back there, we're checking the place out, some of the trailers are open, some of them not, very old. I mean, the plates they say like 2012 and stuff. But anyway, forget that. So, we're going by, we're checking trailers, and we come across this one that's, closed. Now, keep in mind, we've had some experiences with homeless guys, they're pretty, some of them are not in the right mind. So, we get to opening this thing. I'm like, Rick, you stand right there and try to open this. I got my knife right here just in case anything happens. So, we open this. And there was this Mexican guy inside, this poor guy. He was all scared and stuff. He was like, "Are you guys the police? Are you guys the police?" And we're like, "No, no, 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 no. We're not police. We're not police. We're not police." And we were just asking him stuff. He started calming down a little bit. And, before I get into it, this is not the same day the homeless guy tried to kill me. But this is just foreshadowing, you know what I'm saying? So we're talking to him. We're like, "Hey, are there any other people living here that we should be aware about?" I mean, he's like, man, that guy next door, that one semi over, that guy's crazy, man. He'll try to kill you. We're like, all right. So we hear that, we leave him alone, tell him have a good day. We get out of there, you know. So we don't end up going back for like at least like a week, I think. So November 8th hits, right? We're out. We're like, yo, let's go back to that spot and see if that guy's in the trailer. Because I think at this time there's a celebration going on in my town, city. You know what I'm saying? So we go there, right? It's me, my friend Rick, and Glenn. All right. And we pull up. We pull up. And we go in. We're gonna check that Mexican guy's still there, right? We go there. We see his trailer is literally burnt down. I mean, like if you check, like, keep in mind this is a metal trailer. That had to be a hot ass fire, and there's just no way that this didn't just start an accident. Because it's winter time. It's pretty wet out. His trailer is melted, right? We're checking in that John. He's not there. I mean, his stuff's there, but I mean, it's burnt to a crisp, dog. I mean, it's gone. So, we're looking around, right? We're like, oh man. So we look at the next trailer, right? And the trailer that he said the crazy guy was in, I was like, I don't even remember who opened it. I think it was Rick again. And I was like, yo, Glenn, get right next to me, just in case this guy goes ballistic. All right. We open it, and it we tried to open it, but there was a lock, so I ended up cutting it, right? And we got the trailer open. We're ready. We hollered. There's no one in there, right? So I hop in first, and my friends come after me. And we're just checking around, I mean, there was just a bunch of shit in this trailer, dude. I mean, like there was pornos. I mean, literally like anything you could think of. It was just random, like weapons and just random shit. He even had a couch in there. I don't know how he managed to get it, right? So we're checking around. There's nobody in there. We're looking around. We end up finding, someone's debit card and ID, and it wasn't this guy's. And then we found this phone that belonged to this girl who is definitely not this guy. And we kept looking. We ended up finding, a shit ton of Narcan. Like, it had to have been like at least 6 packs. So, I'm not familiar with that, so I don't know how much is a lot. You know, so I grab one thing of Narcan just in case we touch something crazy. And then we found a fucking crack pipe, and they're like, "Oh shit!" So I'm not gonna lie, I might have taken, one of his Fox Racing hats, cause come on, pretty tough stuff. But my friend Rick, he just senses something in the air. Uses some Habibi magic. He's like, "Hey, we gotta get the fuck out of here." So he leaves. Our stuff's at the front. Like me and my friend Glenn's skateboard, right? Rick has a scooter, right? And so he's gone, and we're like, all right, we're gonna head out. And I grabbed this machete that was in there, and Glenn grabbed this hammer, I think. So we're out there, and Rick's freaking out. I'm like, what's going on, man? And I keep in mind, Glenn had his skateboard, but I left my skateboard at the entrance. And we saw this guy coming down the road towards us, like on this bike sort of thing. And Rick was just like, he was like, yo, yo. So I'm like, maybe I should grab my skateboard. So I run back to grab my skateboard, and this guy's like almost here. So we're all three, we're grouped up, and this guy comes here. He's maybe about 10, 15, 20 feet away from us. I can't get a measurement. It was so long ago, right? And he's just freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck were y'all doing in my trailer, bro? What the fuck were y'all doing in my trailer?" We're trying to calm him down, saying, we weren't in there. I mean, we were, but like, keep in mind, we're not trying to get killed. He's just freaking out. I mean, he's pissed. I mean, we genuinely thought this guy was gonna try to fight us. No, this guy was not trying to fight us. He started reaching in his bag for a gun, and at that moment, Rick took off, and that's when me and Glenn started sprinting too. Now, keep in mind, skateboards, shitty roads, right, where we're around, don't mesh well, okay? Rick had a scooter. He was gone. I mean, me and Glenn, we had to run. We were running for a good, like, maybe like 2-3 minutes, right? We're fucking running. I'm out of breath. I'm like, yo, we gotta slow down and hide or something. He's like, Glenn was like, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. We can't die like this. And I was like, all right. And the guy was behind us. He was just screaming like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfuckers. And, we're gone. We were gone at this point. We're looking around. I was like, hey, you think we can go to, Daryl's house? And Daryl, me and him weren't cool at this time. So, we had fought, previously. So we know we weren't cool. And Glenn's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We might as well just head back downtown. So we're making our way down. We've never been in this area, and it's scary as fuck. It's dark out, it's nighttime. And this guy on his bike comes back, and dude, we were just so scared. We thought it was the end. We just we closed our eyes like, this is it. But thank God it was not. It was not that same guy. And pretty much, we ended up heading downtown. Rick had called me. He was like, yo, where you guys at? I'm at McDonald's with my other friend. So we got down there. Everything was chill. We made it through. We're all fine. We were just shaken up pretty bad. So we'll just leave it at that. I don't have a name for my one friend at McDonald's, so we'll just call him the one friend at McDonald's. All right. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. I'd have to check the date. Just give me 1 second. So anyway, fast forward about 2-3 weeks. It's November 24th. And before then, I had a backpack that got stolen from McDonald's, from a previous hangout. So, I was back there, talking to the peoples, behind the desk about, hey, can you guys maybe check cameras for me, see if you can find my bag. And I'd written down my name, see if they contact me. Long story short, they never did. But anyway, part of the story, this homeless guy comes in, right? And he was like, hey, where's your skateboard? And I thought he was just being friendly. I was like, oh man, I don't got it today. I'm just out here looking for my bag. And he's like, yeah, where the fuck is my machete too, you little bitch? And bro, he's crashing out, bro. He comes up to me. See me? I do MMA. But in this situation, listen, bro, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I was chilled out. I was not trying to let anything happen. I'm not trying to get poked up. So he comes up to me all crazy. Where the fuck is my machete at, you little bitch? And where's your little friends too, huh? They can't save you. And I was like, hey, bro, I don't got your shit, bro. You better back up, bro. He's crashing out and shit, I ended up calling Rick. I was like, hey, this crazy motherfucker's here pressing me, bro. He's like, bro. Long story short, Rick didn't come and help. But anyway, don't fault Rick for that. He's not trying to die either. But anyway, so, he backs up. And these McDonald's people, they're freaking out. They're like, hey, y'all better take this shit outside. Acting like I'm the issue. They were saying that I was the issue. Motherfucker, I'm about to get killed in a McDonald's. See me? I don't want to die in a McDonald's. Nowhere near that, that industry, right? So he backs up. He's in like a little, little eating area. So we're about 15 feet away, right? He's just being all pissed off and shit. He gets out his phone. He's talking shit to me. He takes a picture of me. He's like, my friends, they're gonna come get you and they're gonna fuck you up, pal. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So long story short, I ended up leaving, right? Because I had to catch the bus because I was going somewhere anyway. And I had hit up this little bus stop after this whole excursion, and this homeless guy was like, hey, you got smoke? You got a lighter? And I was like, yeah, I got a lighter. And I was like, oh, okay, we're meant for each other. I'm like, no, man, just, Lay whatever you got. So anyway, you know, that happens. I tell him what happened. He's like, hey, that guy's crazy. You know, that's how he gets you. He tries to hustle you to get you, give you money, right? And I was like, nah, man, he was threatening to kill me. He was like, oh, bro, you better get the fuck out of here, bro. You know, these people crazy, man. And he was just like, you know, that was like a whole deal. But anyway, you know, I had took the bus. I was out there, John. You know, I went about my day. But you know, weeks after, you know, nothing's happened. You know, I'm okay. But you know, that happened. And you know, this was more of a short story time. But you know, I felt like you know, I've been told that I should probably try to do a story time, so I thought I might as well. But yeah. So the time I got almost killed by a homeless guy, or the time a homeless guy tried to kill me, featuring Rick and Glenn, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, I kind of like making it, and hopefully you guys, you know, want to see more content in general. You know, last video didn't get a whole lot of views, but hey, I'm not complaining. You know, I just came back after a long time of not posting. So you know, if you can, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. And you know, I'll try to maybe go half on you know, story times, regular content, and you know, just let me know. You know, likes, comments, anything helps to get me on the algorithm, guys. You know, thank you. Bye.